Welcome everyone. So we have the holiday seasons in festive attire today. So appropriate. Our Santa Claus is delivering such a great message for us to help us through the holiday season and into the new year, where we'll be a little less likely to make more mistakes going through with our finances. So that's the goal today. So before we continue, I just want to do a little sound check to see if we're having any disturbances with sound. So as people are joining, you guys can please just put in the chat box area if you can hear, or let me know if you hear like an echo. So I'm just curious about that. So it's definitely a good thing that we're starting to get the cold weather right there at this holiday time. Oh gosh, echo's back. Okay. So Miss D, let me have you to mute for just a second. I'm not sure why it's okay. All right. So how is that sound now, Trouble? Just curious if that echo is continuing because on my end it has stopped. We were messing around with this just a moment ago and it seemed like it was doing okay, but technology is technology. So if someone can let me know if everything's okay with the sound. Just want to make sure we're good before we continue. All right. So as people join, okay, good. So I see that's how we're gonna have to work that. So when you speak, then you would have to unmute, of course. And I'm not sure why it's giving an echo like that, but we figured out the solution to the problem. We'll just move along with it. So when it comes to this conversation here, I wanted to have my good friend come on because she is the finance expert and she has lots of information that's going to really help us to be able to be financially stable going in the future, making less likely bad decisions with our money, not feeling as guilty as we probably feel buying the things we probably shouldn't have bought, throughout 2024. And as we close in 2024 out, we're going to go into 2025 with a better attitude with our finances. So that's really our goal today. So last week, if you guys missed last week, we had a great discussion with some administrative and teachers at the school to talk about the safety concerns of their job and the things that may be changing with our new administration. So if you guys did not see that, I do encourage you guys to check out that link and see how that conversation went because it was quite interesting, especially if you have children. And it's something that's going to really help you as a parent to support your kid in class as well. So today, our conversation is going to center around how do we keep our money safe? We all want to be safe, right? We got to make sure how we can go ahead and protect our money. So, not sure where you're visiting from, but good morning to you. Or as I like to say in some other terms, top of the morning to you. I just feel like that's so funny to say it that way. But anyways, welcome. And as you guys are visiting, go ahead and tell me where you're visiting from. I know we have viewers from all over, and it's just always interesting to see, the people who are visiting from this place and that place. So go ahead and put in the area what state or what country. You don't have to tell me a city or anything. That's a little bit too personal. I don't want to put anybody's in harm way, putting your location out there or anything. So just the state and or country that you're giving our views from today. So with me today, without further ado, I have Ms. Dee Meyers, and I'm going to have her properly introduce herself because I don't want to say her credentials incorrectly, and I want to make sure that she is given the information correctly as it's supposed to be. Thank you so much for visiting from ATL. I appreciate it.
Well, good evening, everybody, and good morning to some. I know it's 5 o'clock in the morning somewhere, or 8 o'clock in the morning somewhere. I'm Dee Myers, as Sheena said, and I'm a financial representative with a company called Five Rings Financial. I'm an independent agent with them, and personal finance is what I do. I decided to, you know, always had a love for teaching and mentoring, and I got the opportunity to work for this company about 12 years ago. And I didn't know I wanted to be a financial person. I knew I had a lot of information about money and personal finance, But I wanted to share and I wanted to teach people about money. So the more I learned, the more I wanted to share. It's kind of like my mission now because I've retired twice so far, once from the military and once from corporate America. So I do this now full time, where I am teaching people about money. And that's what we do at Five Rings Financial. We teach people about money instead of just telling people what to do with their money. And the reason why we do that is because what we have found is that there's an education problem in this country when it comes to money. Would you agree with that, Sheena? Yeah, it's there's an education problem. It's not a money problem. It's an education problem. And the reason why is that there's so much information out there. A lot of it is misleading. A lot of it is not true. It's not right. But people are overwhelmed because there's so much stuff out there. And so they don't know which way to turn. Or they're listening to their friend who they probably shouldn't be listening to, or listening to somebody that they probably shouldn't be listening to. And so they end up making mistakes, or they don't do anything at all, which is just as bad as not as making a mistake. And so that's why I got into this business, to help people to dispel the myths. And what I like to say, give it to you straight with no chaser. Just give it to you straight and help you go out there so that when you're out there and you're looking at things or you're trying to decide what to do with your finances, you can make an informed decision. Now you're not going to be a resident expert about about a lot of things, and you don't have to be. But if you have a good, solid, basic knowledge about your finances, personal finances, investments, things like that, then you have what you need. And then it's just a matter of going out there and finding some other things that you need if you want to do that, or seeking the help and assistance of a trusted advisor like myself. And so that's why we're here. And Sheena asked me to come on tonight. So let's talk about money. Let's talk about, especially this time of year. It's Christmas time. People are going crazy. They're all over the place. And a lot of people are stressed out right now. And so, my question to all of you, if you're one of those people who's stressed out, why is that? Why are you stressed out? Christmas comes around the same time every year. It's not a different date. The day may be may be different, but the date itself stays the same. So why are there so many people out there stressing out and feeling down and feeling blue about a time when we all should be actually pretty upbeat? So, what do you think?
That's a
That's a
very,
very,
very good
very good
question.
question.
So when it
So when
comes
it
to
comes
that,
to
for
that,
me,
for
if
me,
I had to
I had
answer
to
that,
answer that.
I know we
I
have
know
that
we
little
have that
echo
little
there. If you
echo
want
there.
to
If you
just
want to
wait
just
a second.
second.
So for my answer, my stress is about just kind of teeter tottering how to educate my kids when it comes to the season, because I want to send them on a path of knowledge, but I want to send them on a path of having a childhood, good childhood memories. So sometimes those two things kind of, bump heads. And that's where I struggle and my stress comes from that. Um, and so when it comes to James said that they think the holidays are the biggest scams of money. What do we think? And keep it real. If it adds pressure and already struggling people. So I'd have to agree with you, James, and that's definitely one of my concerns. That's what stresses me. That's actually one of my stresses. How about you, Miss D, to answer James' question?
Well, James, there are a lot of scams out there. That's true, but you don't have to get caught up in the scams. And since you mentioned scams, one of the things I like to do, take a few minutes and let's have a little quiz. I want to talk to you about how to avoid holiday scams. Since you asked that question, and so it's only about 7 questions. Nobody's going to fail. Nobody's going to be put in timeout. Santa Claus still come and see you if you've been good, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring something up on the screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. Holiday scams. And so I'm going to
We
go
see just
through and
fine.
ask some questions here. And let's see if I can get this going. Give me a moment here. All right. So, okay, you may not be able to see this. So I'm going to read the questions off. True or false? Disposable virtual cards can help protect your primary credit card information while shopping online. Is that true or false?
I'm gonna say
I'm gonna
yeah,
say
true.
yes, true. That is true. The reason why disposable virtual cards, they add a layer of protection by masking your primary card information, so it makes it harder for the fraudsters or the scammers to access your real account. So if you have one of those virtual cards, they're good to have, right? Here's the second question. Which should you avoid when shopping on a public Wi-Fi network? Okay? Logging into your bank account, checking product reviews, using a VPN, or browsing without entering personal info. Which should you avoid?
Sound like
So
all the
you
above for me.
can only pick one. You can pick one. Somebody said all the above. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say checking that. Your checking account.
Exactly. So when you're on a public Wi-Fi network, remember it's not as secure. You don't want to be checking, your bank account when you're doing something like that. There's nothing wrong with going out there and looking at product reviews and things like that. VPN, that can help you as well. That's but yeah, you can do the other stuff, but yeah, just don't avoid, you know, logging into your bank accounts. I would not do that on the public Wi-Fi. Okay. Here's the next question. Which of these is the absolute most secure payment method when using a card? Tap to pay? Just tell the cashier your card number. Insert the card in the microchip facing the correct way, or swiping the card in the reader. Which one would you say is the absolute most secure way?
Maybe
Maybe
swiping it?
swiping. It, I want to hear what some of the viewers say. Okay, you say swiping. Let's hear what some other folks say. What do you think, out there, audience? What do you think? The most secure payment method. I'll read them off again. Tap to pay. Just tell the cashier your card number. Insert the card with the microchip, I can't speak, facing the correct way, or swipe the card in the reader. Okay, I see somebody said, Mike says swiping. You said swiping. So the absolute most secure way to do it is tapping to pay. Think about it. We don't have to insert our cards anymore. We can just tap. Once it processes, we go about our business, right? That is the absolute safest way to pay, right? When you got that chip on your card, and most of us do, that's the best way to do that if it's available. Okay. Next question. So you receive an email with the link for a deal on an Amazon product you're interested in, and you decide to verify the sender's address. Which of these URLs is the correct secure domain to shop on Amazon? Now, look at this very closely. Now, this may be kind of difficult. I don't know if y'all can see that. The first one says www.amazon-shopping.com. The second one says www.amazon.com. The third one says www.amazon-secure-payment.com, or none of the above.
Mm,
Mm.
I would probably go with the Amazon.com. I had to verify.
Okay, audience, what do you think? She says Amazon.com. What do you think? Look at it closely. And this is one I would tell you, you are going to have to look at it really closely. And it may be kind of hard to see from this vantage point. So I'm going to tell you what it is. Actually, the true answer is none of the above. And I'll tell you why. This second one here, it looks like it's correct. It's sort of correct, but it's not. Look at the M. This is a capital M. It should be a small case M. So you've got to look at these URLs, look at them very carefully. Okay? Look at them very carefully to see. And that's what the problem was. This is Amazon.com with all lower caps. That's what you're looking for. That's their official domain for shopping. But in that one that I showed you, the M was capitalized. So you want to make sure you look for these things. Okay.
Very
Very
good. Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, yeah. Here's another one. Which of the following are good ways to protect your accounts while shopping online? And this one you can select more than one. So you can, would you say, use two-factor authentication, save your card details on all shopping sites, use a secure private network, or set up unique passwords for each site. We can select more than one. So what do you think?
I think
I think
selecting that
selecting
unique
that
password
unique
is good.
password. Selecting the secure private network. Okay, what else?
The
Somebody
password.
said two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Guess not.
How about setting up unique passwords for each site?
I like that one.
Yes. You don't want to save your card details on all shopping sites. That's one you don't want to do. But the other three are good. That two-factor authentication, that one is a great one to do. And I want you to think about this. Let's just say you have places where you shop on a regular basis. And so you go in there, you got a password set up for that site. Okay. If your password is too simple, what'll happen is a scammer, if they get a hold of that password some kind of way, they can go in there and they will keep trying your passwords. And what's going to happen is when they try a password, you're going to get a notice somewhere saying, hey, there was an attempt to access your account. If this was you, don't worry about it. You can just go on about your business. But if it wasn't, either let them know or try using the right password. What's happening is the scammer is trying to get you to go in and put the correct password in. That's what's happening. So when you get that notice, and when I'm logging on to something, right, I get the notice, but it was me. So I don't have to worry about it. I know it was me. But if it wasn't you, that should send up a red flag that maybe somebody's trying to access my account. Right? So something to think about. Changing the password and enabling MFA can secure your account. Absolutely. Yes. So don't use the same password for all of your accounts. I know it's easier, but it's not a good thing to do. Okay. And change those passwords ever so often, especially if you get something saying, hey, your password was compromised. If you have identity theft protection, and if you don't, I highly recommend you get some identity theft protection. It doesn't cost that much. It really doesn't, but it is well worth the money. Okay. I think we have maybe a couple of more questions and we'll be done. Okay, no, we done all the questions. So we got them all right. But I just wanted to go through those things just to kind of, have you think about different things that are going on online. The scammers are out there. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm sure some of you've heard things like if you get a suspicious email or an email from, even if it looks like from somebody that you know. For example, Facebook or Instagram. This happened to me recently. One of my cousins, reached out to me on Instagram. And I know he has an Instagram account, but when I looked at it before I answered him or acknowledged him, I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute. It looked like him. There was a picture of him, but it wasn't him. It was a scammer. And the way I could tell is that I know, first of all, you look at how many friends they have, how many connections they have. So if you know somebody who has, 500, 1,000, let's say, friends or connections, you know that because you've seen their account. And then all of a sudden, this person, they chant and, hey, Sheila, how you doing, girl? Long time no see. And you look, oh, that looks like her. But then you check the account and you only see like 25, 30 connections. That's an indication right there that's not the real person. So you might want to contact that person and say, hey, did you reach out to me? That happens all the time. And again, they're trying to get you to give up your information. So I don't want to spend all the time on cybersecurity stuff, but I highly recommend if you don't already have identity protection, please get some. You're looking at maybe $8 to $12 a month, if that. But if something happens to you and your identity gets stolen, and if you've had that to happen to you, you know what I'm talking about. It is the biggest pain in the butt to have to deal with, right? It's a huge problem. You have ID theft protection, the company's going to take care of it for you. They're going to fight that battle for you. Okay. So just something to consider. There are a lot of different companies out there. You've heard of LifeLock. That's the one you see on TV all the time. I don't have the one actually. Mine is through a company called Xander Insurance. Zander. As a matter of fact, this quiz we just did, it came from them. They sent me an email that they said, "Hey, let's talk about holiday scams." I'm like, "Oh, this is so timely." So just something to think about.
Now,
Um,
somebody had a question for you. They said they use prepaid cards for all their online transactions. What do you think about that?
yeah, you can use a prepaid card. You can use a prepaid card. A lot of people use them all the time. Nothing wrong with that. And though that can be a safe way to where you can still get your shopping and stuff done, but you're not putting as much information out there, which is good. So yeah, get a good prepaid card. It's kind of like when you have a gift card. Got gift cards out there that you're using. And by the way, if anybody out there has a gift card from TGI Fridays, if I were you, I would use it as soon as possible. They just filed for bankruptcy last month, and they're all. Let's see, right now the count is somewhere around $50 million, over $50 million in unused gift cards, and those cards may be canceled because they just filed for bankruptcy. So again, if you have a gift card from TGI Fridays, make sure you use it as soon as possible because right now it's up in air as to whether or not those cards are still going to be good.
I just
Okay.
noticed that the Fridays in Fredericksburg closed. I just noticed that.
Yes, indeed. So let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about some strategies, some things we can use. My goal is to keep people from stressing out. You should not be stressing out just because it's Christmas time. I'm not stressed. I got my lights up. I got two Christmas trees. I got one right here in my office. I got another one downstairs. I got Christmas music playing in the background. I ain't stressing about nothing. Just saying. So here's just some food for thought, folks. I don't know your situation, don't know what you're going through, and I'm not trying to judge you. But here's just something to consider. If you have a place to live, if you have food on the table, you got food in your kitchen that you can serve yourself and your family, if you got clothes to wear, now they don't have to be the fanciest of clothes, it doesn't matter, but if you got clothes to wear, if you got all those things, if you got a family that you love and who loves you, who cares for you, if you got those things, all those things, and most of those things, there's your Christmas right there. Think about it. There's your Christmas right there. All of this going out shopping for gifts and all of that stuff, honestly, that has nothing to do with Christmas. That has nothing to do with Christmas. Now, personally, and it's just me, I'm a person of faith. And so there's a reason for the season where I come from, right? And it has nothing to do with shopping and stressing out and trying to buy all these gifts with money that you don't have. It has nothing to do with that. Right. So think about the reason for the season. And I'm going to give you some tips here in a few minutes on some different things that you can do. I like to call them uncommon ways to give for the holidays. Okay. So we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about some smart shopping strategies. And if any of you have any that you'd like to chime in, put it in the chat. So I'm always looking to add to the list. This is just a few. Okay. So here's the first one: be a mission shopper. What in the world does that mean, D? Be a mission shopper. What that means is this: before you even think about going into the store, make your list. Make your list and check it twice. And then after you make the list of what you want to shop for, Make a budget. I know that's a cuss word. I don't mean to cuss you out, but make a budget. Decide how much you want to spend before you even walk out the door. And once you've got the budget together, how much you want to spend, and you've got your list, you simply go to the store. You on a mission. That's why you're a mission shopper. You're not wandering through the aisles and going from store to store. No, 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 no. You go straight to the store. You buy what you want, what you came in there for. You pay for it, and you get out. No impulse buying. Now, men have a better time of doing this, easier time of doing this than women do. Some men do. A lot of men, they do just that. They'll park right at the store where they want to shop. They go in there, they buy what they want, they get out of there. But now there's some men out there who are worse shoppers than women. They're out there and they'll spend half an afternoon in the store, especially in like, places where they sell electronics and stuff like that. Best Buy, Target, Costco, BJ's, and any of these other places where they sell electronics because they got these huge TVs out there now. And I know you got to find the biggest TV you can find to put in your man cave. And so you're out there and you got to get some electronics to go along with it. I understand. I get it. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But just be prepared before you walk in the store. Personally, what I like to do, if I'm buying electronics or something like that, I already know what I'm going to buy before I even go in the store. Matter of fact, sometimes I even got a serial number because I will find the item online at the store where I'm looking to go to. Right? I find an item, I do the research, and once I decide this is what I want, go to the store's website where I see it, and then I identify the item. I get the serial number, and then I'll walk in the store. Now, here's the deal: sometimes you go in the store and it's more expensive in the store than it is online. If you've got that serial number and you've already checked it out online, guess what? Go in the store and do what I'm about to tell you. Price match. We all know how to price match, right? I've done this in Best Buy. There was a TV I wanted to buy. I went online, I found the TV. I want that TV, got the serial number, everything. I went into the store. Same TV was about $75 higher. I'm like, I'm not paying that. And I said, look here, I went online to your site. I found the TV. Here's the serial number. Here's the part number, model number. And they said, well, at first he was trying to tell me they couldn't do it unless you can. You can do it if you want to sell this TV. Yes, you can. Guess what? I got that TV at the online price. So if you see something you want on, in the store, before you buy it in the store, check it out online. Ladies, when it comes to shoes, I know a lot of you have this shoe addiction. I understand. I'm so glad I don't have the shoe addiction. But this is what I like to do when I buy shoes. I'll go to the store and see a shoe that I really like, right? And it's like, ooh, love this shoe. But maybe, it's not in the size that I want, or maybe it's not in the color that I want. So then I'll go home and go online and look for it. If you all have not heard of Zappos, Zappos, if you haven't learned about Zappos, you need to find out about Zappos when it comes to shoes. Because a lot of times you can go into a store, see a shoe that you want, but maybe in a lot of stores, they only sell medium width shoes. So if you have a narrow foot or a wide foot, you might not be able to find that shoe in your size because a lot of times they're selling, medium widths in the store. But if you go to the online site or if you go to Zappos, I guarantee you're going to find what you want in the width that you want at a cheaper price in a lot of cases. And if you shop at Zappos, and I've been shopping at Zappos for a lot of years, you don't pay for shipping. So here's an example. I could go onto Zappos tonight, find some shoes that I want, order the shoes, and I guarantee they're going to be sitting on my doorstep on Monday. They would be on my doorstep by Monday. And here's the deal: you try it on. If you don't like it, all you have to do is print up the little return slip, take it to probably the closest UPS store. They'll take it from there. You give them the slip. They're going to scan the thing. You going about your business. That discount or the refund will be back in your account in no time. You can go back onto Zappos and find what you want. Customer service is excellent. So just a tip: price match. A lot of times is get a better price online. So I'm going to stop for a moment here. Anybody got any questions?
Now, what I'm going to say while we wait for those questions is definitely you helped me already to be a mission shopper, okay? Because I will tell you, there's certain things that I'm a mission shopper about, but there's certain things like shoes I'm not. I am totally that woman that goes up and down the aisles, up and down the back around to the same aisle. That is totally me in the shoe stores looking for shoes. So I am definitely guilty of that. But I can say I'm a little bit more of a mission shopper when it comes to certain things. Um, and definitely I'm not a mission shopper with food. Oh my gosh, that's my biggest spending terrible problem with that. I should have a shopping list, and there are times I have a shopping list, but a lot of times I'm leaving out with 5 or 6 other items that's additional to this shopping list. So I have a hard time sticking with that when I'm in a grocery store. So my tip to anybody with that is don't shop hungry.
That is excellent advice, Sheena. That is so right. Do not go to the grocery store hungry, and beware of the stuff that's right at the front of the store. The chips, candies, pies, some fruits, those types of things. They are there for a reason. That store is set up like that for a reason, right? So you may go in there and you have no intention of buying baked goods, but they sitting right there in front of your face, and it's like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even going to get this. Just ignore it. Get your list. I always make a list. I got a list now. As soon as we're done tonight, guess where I'm headed? I'm headed to the store. Got to get some things for tomorrow because I'm headed to get my nephew. It's going to be a long drive. My sister's going to come, so we need a few snacks for the road. So I'm going to go to the store tonight and get those things. But guess what? I've already got my list. It helps out a lot. Now, granted, I will tell you, not all the time you're going to have everything, that you intended to get. You may forget a few items, and that's okay. But forgetting 2 or 3 items is not as bad as forgetting a whole cart full of items. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Now I have a
So
question for everybody. I have a question for everybody because I'm curious, am I the only one this happened to? Have you gone to the store for one item and went in there and you came out with 10 items, but none of those 10 items was the item that you originally went in there for? I'm just curious, am I the only one?
I think that we all may be guilty of that in some way, shape, or form. It has happened to me too. It certainly has. I'll go in and not find the item I went in there to get, but then I'll find some other things too. So what I like to do also is I like to take some extra money with me, and that helps out. That helps out a lot too. It really does. Okay. Here's a couple other strategies, and this is one you probably hadn't even thought about. Um, got a question for you. How many of you, your mailbox is just full of junk mail, online and coming through the postal office? I mean, mailbox is just full of junk. You get emails every single day. Oh my gosh, everybody's got a sale, and it fills up your box. And a lot of times it's coming from places where you normally shop. Here's something you might think about doing, especially for stores that you like to shop at where they sending you all this stuff. Maybe consider setting up a separate email address just for your mailing list, just for the store mailing list. And that way, all that junk goes somewhere else and it's not just clogging up your regular inbox. It's just something to think about, right? It will help reduce some of that junk mail that you get in your main inbox. And, before the holiday season, well, it's too late now, but before the holiday season starts, sign up for deal alerts on retailer websites using that other email address. And that way, all of that stuff will go there. And you don't get bogged down with all of that stuff. So that's just something to think about. And here's a big one: read the fine print. I don't know about you, but I tend to do most of my shopping online. And the reason for that is that I don't have the time or the patience to deal with the foolishness in the stores. Besides, the traffic is crazy. and people have lost their minds. So to keep my sanity and to keep from having to repent later by cussing somebody out, I'm just keeping it real, y'all. So what I do is I do most of my shopping online, right? And so if you're going to be shopping online, that's getting kind of close to, because Christmas is next Wednesday. So if you want to get something in the mail, you probably want to get it by Christmas Eve at the very latest. And so at this point, you're probably going to be paying more for it in most cases. But make sure you understand the store's shipping policy. So a lot of times you have items that say, well, it's guaranteed to arrive in such and such days. Check to make sure if it's just the number of days or is it business days. Check to make sure you see that, because if it says business days and the item is guaranteed to be there in 4 business days, guess what? And I'm just looking at today. You're gonna miss it. It won't get here before Christmas, because today is the last business day, which means we're looking at probably somewhere around Thursday or Friday. So make sure you look at that. Try to avoid waiting to the last minute to make purchases. I just mentioned it. The shipping costs are going to cost a lot more. It's expensive. And the problem that I've been seeing in my neighborhood, UPS, FedEx, even the post office especially, they are dropping off people's packages at other people's houses. Every single day, I'm getting a notice. We have this neighborhood thing called Next Door, and we go online and we keep people informed, each other informed. Every day, somebody is posting a picture. Where FedEx, if you order something from FedEx, of course, they're going to take a picture of it in most cases on your porch, wherever they drop the package. And that's great. I like seeing that. But the bad thing is, if you're looking for a package to come in and you look at, oh, it's been delivered, and you happen to look at the picture, that's not my house. That's a problem. So they are so busy trying to get the packages delivered, they're not paying attention. And I see that a lot. So
Before you continue with that, I wonder if anybody has an answer for me on this. I am not understanding why they deliver packages to my garage right beside the trash can. And I'm like, what is up with that? I thought they needed to put it at the door, not a garage door. So, does anybody have an answer to that? Is that something that UPS or Postal Service, anybody, I don't know what company, any company, is just saying that's okay? Is that what they're training people to do? Because that just is odd for me. You put it beside the trash can, which just happened to be the garage door.
I'm with you on that one, Sheena. Now, for most of the time, they do put it on my front porch, which is great. They put it on the front porch. But anybody out there works for FedEx or UPS can share some light on that. We deliver packages. And if you work for UPS or FedEx or some of those DHL, some of those other ones, and you deliver packages, you just heard what Sheena said. Don't put the package by the trash can or the garage door. Put it on the porch, please. Thank you very much. Anybody got any comments? Anything they want to put out there before I keep going? So I wanted to see what if anybody has any questions or anything like that. Because the next thing I want to talk to us are uncommon ways you can not only save money, but you can give without, without, running out of money. And so here's some things. First of all, for those of you who like to send cards through the mail, I love getting cards, I used to send cards all the time through the mail. My biggest concern is that I just mentioned it. A lot of times this stuff is not being delivered on time. Even when you mail the cards out weeks ahead of time, the postal office especially is notorious for, I don't know what they're doing. The stuff is just, it's not getting there. So, um, Meta 101, I'm going to get to that question. That's a great question. I'm going to answer that in just a few moments. The question was, what's the best time of year to buy Christmas stuff? Give me a moment. I'm going to answer that question. That's a great question. But getting back to this other one, some uncommon ways. Do e-cards. You can get a subscription to e-cards and just send out. You can send cards out throughout the year for anything and everything. But they're cheaper. You know the person's going to get it. and you don't have to worry about stamps, which go up every few years anyway. Now, here's something that another idea that probably a lot of you may not be willing to do, but I tell you, it does work. And that is stop spending for 2 months. Go on a self-imposed spending detox. So think about this. If you've done all your shopping months ago, or I'm gonna recommend some other ways to do it, you could be on a shopping detox right now and just not be out there, messing around in all the traffic and everything. No, it's DMV. No, no, it's not impossible. No, no, no. I disagree. It's not impossible. It requires a little bit of planning. It's not impossible. And the thing to do is set some expectations with those kids. Set some expectations. But no, it's not impossible, right? What do you mean I can't buy nothing? Of course you can buy stuff. However, I'm trying to help keep your stress level a little bit lower. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. These are some things you can do to lower that stress, because otherwise the kids will drive you crazy, especially this time of year. We don't want that. Here's something else you can do. And I've done this personally, and it works really well, sometimes better than buying a gift. And that is donate your skills as a gift. Donate your skills. Think about it. There are a lot of people out there that maybe they need something done around the house, and maybe you're good at fixing stuff, or maybe they needed some help putting up Christmas decorations, something like that. Donate your skills. Think about something you're really good at. I know there's some people out there that excellent cooks and excellent bakers. You may have a friend out there that loves pound cake. I'm just saying, lemon pound cake. Yeah, I kind of got I love those. Just saying. But instead of going out there doing all that shopping, maybe you go over to someone's house. Here's a thought: go over to the house and cook dinner for them and their family. I told this to a friend of mine the other day, who's a kind of like not officially a chef, but the way she cooks, oh my goodness. And her food is not only excellent, but it looks good. I said, girl, look, put on one of those chef coats and go over to somebody's house and cook dinner. That's a gift. Think about it. That is a gift. Don't we gather on the holidays and we have a meal together?
Whoa, 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 whoa. I gotta cut the tape right here. Hold on, Big Daddy 444. You cook for your family one time out of the year? Once? That's all they get is one meal? It gotta be more than that. It gotta be more than that. Come on, bring it, bring it. We need more meals.
Only one time a year. Come on now. Big Daddy, you gotta do better than that. Come on, man. Once a year. And you know what, Sheila? I bet you he can cook too. I bet you that brother can probably cook. Like, y'all only gonna get something from me once a year. That's it. Like, he got his grandkids and everything. That's fine, but more than once a year. 25 people, okay. I'm still not gonna cut you that much slack though. They need to, taste your family's cooking more than once a year. But here's some other things you can do. And this is to answer the question about when good time to shop for Christmas. How about starting and putting together a Christmas closet? Have you ever considered that? And this is what I mean. Maybe set some space somewhere in your house, maybe some space in the closet, or just an area, right? And think about what's going to happen at the first of the year. Everything is going to be on sale. Everything is going to be on sale. 50%, 75%, 80% off. That's when you do your Christmas shopping for next year. All the clothing, the shoes, all of this stuff is going to be on sale. Christmas decorations. Why is it people go to the store and got to buy Christmas decorations every year? That's crazy, people. But guess what's going to happen right after Christmas? All this stuff is going to be. Well, Michael, you said you'd be broke by then. No, you don't have to be. See, I'm trying to help you I'm trying to prevent the brokenness. Listen to me, brother. Listen to me. Okay? Listen to me. So you can start shopping after Christmas. And what you do is you buy a little item here and there throughout the year. That's what you do. You know what people like. That's what I do. I do that stuff all the time. I find a sale in the middle of the summertime, and sometimes I'll buy stuff that, it's like it may not be something that so much like said the family. It's like, okay, they weren't thinking about it, but it's like once they get it, it's like, oh man, I can use that. For example, a tire inflator. It's a little device. You can get these little devices now, and you keep it in your glove compartment. And so if you ever have a flat tire or somebody that you know has a flat tire, that thing on a single charge can inflate all four tires, right? Now, it's not something you don't think about, but I tell you what, it really comes in handy, if that ever happens to you or happens to somebody that's close to you, you got something you can help. You can help them out with. Um, Charges, all kinds of little things. You can shop throughout the year and watch out for sales. Think about holidays to come up. And especially for those of you out there, if you are a veteran, first of all, thank you for your service. But veterans, every time there's a major holiday, there's a sale. So if you need to buy some things, it could be an appliance, it could be electronics, whatever the case may be. Every time there's a major holiday that comes up, there's going to be a sale prior to that. And if you're a veteran, man, look at the discounts you can get. Oh my goodness. So you can do a lot of great shopping then. And if you start doing this stuff a little at a time throughout the year, then by the time you get to around, let's say October, you already got your stuff. All you got to do is wrap it if you choose to wrap it or however you choose to, package it up. But your shopping is already done and you have saved money. And it's like, oh my gosh, Christmas is coming. You don't have to stress out. I know some people who do this all the time. They've been doing it for years. It works. I'm telling you, it really does work. Set up a Christmas closet. Here's another one you maybe you haven't thought of. Move the holiday. What in the world did she just say? Move the holiday. What do I mean by that? So this, I know it's something that we used to do, especially when I was still on active duty in the military. And maybe I couldn't come home for Christmas. Or maybe I made it home January, February. So guess what? My mom and them, they used to move Christmas to whenever I came home. And then we celebrated Christmas then, right? And so think about what Christmas is for, especially for those of us who are people of faith. It ain't got nothing to do with shopping. So spend the time with your family. Maybe go out to eat or go look at the lights or things like that. There's some things you can do for absolutely free. Get together, get the family together, and don't worry about all the shopping stuff, right? Just enjoy the season itself. And then maybe January, if you've been saving up your money, January, guess what? You can go out there and shop till you drop because everything is going to be on sale. Sheena, what you got to say about that?
I love the idea. I do. I've tried it. It didn't work for me. Only because, like Mike said, I think Mike is the one that said by that time he broke. But changing my mindset and changing how I'm doing things does help, you know. So to set some goals probably will be helpful for me going into this new way of thought process. I do worry also, like Mike was saying, that things might be outdated. So I'll try to focus on some things that maybe won't be outdated, like you said, phone chargers, type stuff like that. Some technology that may not be outdated by the time the end of the year happens. Um, or maybe just simply, just trying to do better with trying to put money to the side. Like that could be something I could try. But I do very much like this idea, especially like the Christmas decorations. Christmas decorations. I could think of things like coats. Like my kids are gonna grow out of coats by the next winter, so I'll just buy the next size up. Things like that. I was trying to buy things like that. Socks and underclothes and things like that that I know they're gonna need that won't be outdated by then. I'll try to buy that when those 80% off sales come up next time.
Excellent idea. Excellent idea. Personally, when it comes to like underclothes and socks and stuff, I buy that stuff once a year. And right now, the sales they're about to be on and popping. So guess what? That's when I do my Christmas shop. When it comes to underwear and things like that, right? Mike was saying you're talking about your kids want the latest and the greatest when it comes to games and stuff like that, and so they make a new phone once a year. So Mike, it doesn't matter if they make a new phone every year. Doesn't mean you have to go and get one. See, this is how people get into trouble thinking they have to have the latest and the greatest phone, Apple, or if you got an Android. I'm an Android person personally, but think about how much phones cost now. You're talking about over $1,000 for a phone. Now I use my phone primarily for business. So spending $1,000 for a phone, that's a tax write-off for me because I use it's for business. But just because a new phone is coming out doesn't mean you have to go out there and buy one. And when it comes to the kids, they say, well, if you got kids that just determined they just need to have a phone, the new latest phone every year. If not, they just gonna roll over and die or something like that. That's what they tell you. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to make it. So make a deal with them and say something like, well, here's the deal. If you want that new iPhone that's coming out next year, I tell you what, we're gonna start this savings plan, which is gonna bring me to my next subject. Setting up a savings plan. Yeah, setting up a savings plan. So let's start with something real simple. How about start up with a $5 a day savings plan? Do you think you could save $5 a day? Think about that. $5 a day. And most of you, I know you can. You can save $5 a day because you blow $5 a day. Now, maybe it doesn't seem like that if you don't think you're spending money every day, but I want you to think about this. Let's say you're one of these people, let's say you're really disciplined. And so you take your lunch to work. And so that way you're not going out shopping, and going to restaurants every day, and you're trying to do the right thing and all. And so maybe you only spend maybe a couple of days on Monday, maybe a few more dollars on Tuesday or something like that. But then what happens? You get to Friday. Now tonight is Friday. Now, how many of you would be willing to admit the truth? If you've been good throughout the week, now it's Friday. And this is the attitude that most people have. I ain't gonna cook nothing. I ain't cooking nothing. You're going to do one of three things on a Friday night. Either you're going to go out to eat, or you're going to order something online and have it delivered, or you're going to order something online and go to the restaurant to pick it up. You ain't cooking tonight, right? So that happens all the time. You know it's going to happen. Guess what? You can plan for that. You can plan for that, right? You can plan for that, just like anything else, right? Um, $5 a day. Think about that. Think about that. You can do that. And so when you got kids who are like really, really, materialistic and they want to have the latest phone, the latest game, so okay, I tell you what, you're gonna start saving some money. You're gonna help pay for this. So every time you get some money, I don't care who you're getting it from, grandma, your daddy, your mama, friends, you won a contest. I don't care where the money came from, but whenever they get some money, make a deal with them and say, I tell you what, you got this money here. How much are you going to set aside for that phone that you want that's coming up next year, or that game that you want that's coming out? And have them set it aside. Now, you may be asking, where can I put that money? I highly recommend for all of you, if you don't already have a high yield savings account, you need to get one. And I'm serious about that. High yield savings account. They are available all over the place now. If you are interested and you're not really sure where to go to get one, because most of the what I'm talking about is something that you get online. Okay, now a lot of local banks will say they have a high yield savings account. But if you want to go to your local bank to look at that, read the fine print. Okay, especially some of your larger banks. And here's the reason why. They may say, oh, yeah, we got high yield savings accounts. You already have you're a client here, you're a customer here. So, of course, yeah, we can set up a high yield savings account for you. And let's say the rate is somewhere between 3 to 4%, because that's what they're paying right now in interest. Read the fine print and make sure that's not a teaser rate at your bank. So, yeah, they give you 3% or 4% for like 6 months. And then after 6 months, that rate is going to go right back down to 0.25% or 0.05%, which is what a lot of local banks are giving you on your savings. So this is what I'm saying, folks. Make your money work harder for you. You work hard for it, so make the money work harder for you. Set up a high yield savings account. You can do it online. Now, what I've done, I've gathered. I give these this information out all the time to people. I recommend it to all of my clients. Get a high yield savings account. Here's the reason why. Right now, the lowest rate of interest on a high yield savings account is somewhere around 3.5%. That's the low rate. There's still a few that are paying 4%, 4.5%. Your local regular savings account at the bank is not even 1% interest. So you're not going to make any money on that. Now, granted, when it comes to your high yield savings, the key here is you want this to be, it's not all about the growth, it's about liquidity, being able to access that money when you need the money. But there's nothing wrong with earning some extra interest on it while you're doing that. Now, the rates have gone down a bit, and the reason why is because the Federal Reserve has started cutting interest rates. As a matter of fact, they just cut interest rates 0.25%. I think it was yesterday. Okay, and so interest rates throughout the industry are starting to go down. So earlier this year, I had clients that were opening accounts and they were getting 4.5%, 5% interest on a savings account, which, by the way, Heckler Garcia, is the same amount of interest you get on a CD. So think about this. If you've got some money, short term money, when I say short term, I'm talking about this is money you're going to need within the next 6 months to a year. Okay. And you figure you got some money you want to put away in savings. Go to the bank, you get a 6 month CD, you get a 1 year CD, you're going to get somewhere between 2% and 5% is what you're going to get on that money. But in order to get that interest, you got to keep the money in there for that 6 months or that year or however long it is. When you can take that same amount of money, especially if you know you want to use that money, maybe you don't want to wait that long, you want to have access to it, you can set up a high yield savings account and get anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5%, same amount of interest as you would get with a CD, and yet you have access to that money. And what I'm talking about, these accounts that don't have any maintenance fees, there are no penalties, there are no transfer fees, none of that stuff. Okay. And so that's what I'm talking about, your short term money. I'm not talking about investments. Heckler Garcia TSP, their savings plan, that's a retirement plan. That's not what we're talking about. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about your short term savings, which is a great place, by the way, to put your emergency fund. So if you don't have an emergency fund, how about start off 2025 and set up an emergency fund if you don't already have one, right? The goal, 3 to 6 months to start. That's what the goal is. Now, if you don't have that right now and an emergency happens, then you're going to have some problems there because guess what's going to happen? You don't have it. That means you're probably going to pull out a credit card and use a credit card. And that's the worst possible time to use the card, right? So to avoid that, you maybe want to get a higher savings account and set up for your emergency savings. Okay. And that way, when the emergency happens, it's an inconvenience and not a catastrophe. Okay. Um, if you want a list, maybe you're not sure because there's a lot of them out there. I actually compiled a list of banks I know that I've already vetted them. I've checked them out. Actually, my personal savings, emergency fund savings, and vacation savings, have it in a high yield savings account. And so, if you wanted, just a list of some to look at, reach out to Sheena. I'm going to send her a list of banks I've already vetted. And like I said, there are no service fees, no maintenance fees. You can start with zero. You don't have to have a minimum amount. You can start with zero. It's not going to cost you anything. Transfer fees, there are none of those. And so anytime you need that money, all you have to do is just go and do a transfer from your regular bank, let's say your checking account, to that high yield savings account. The money's there, you can go and do what you need to do, but you're getting a higher rate of interest. Okay. Um, let's see, is it, I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Beyondra.
Leandra, you say use a credit card. Here's the problem with that. Okay. If you are a very disciplined person, and I stress very disciplined person, and if you are able to pay that card off every single month when the bill comes in, and if you have a reward credit card, if you got a regular credit card, then no, that's not a good idea. But if you have a reward credit card so that every time you make a purchase, you get points, I got one of those. Okay, I got one for business and one for personal. I only carry two credit cards. That's it. And I never do store credit cards. Bad juju. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But major credit cards, a Visa, MasterCard, okay? And you figure if you're going to use the card, pay the card off. If you know you can't do that, then don't use that credit card because what's going to happen? You are going to get caught up. And so she
Oh, I
says,
see.
I'm dating a card just for the holidays. Here's the problem, it's the holidays. How much shopping are you going to do? And when the bill comes in January, are you going to be able to pay that card off? Okay, you say you have one just for gas. Is it one of those gas credit cards? Because if it's one of those gas credit cards, if it has rewards, then you know you're gonna if you know you can pay it off every month, then yeah, you can use a card because you don't have to deal with the cash and you can tap and go. The problem is most people aren't paying them off every month when the bill comes in. And if you really want to like freak yourself out, go look at the interest rate on that card. Okay. The average credit card interest rate is over 15%. Now you may be able to get one that, you know, maybe it's got 0% for 6 months or a year or something like that. Okay. You say you pay it off in 3 to 4 months. You can, but you're still gonna be paying interest. I'm talking about let's do some things where you don't have to pay interest. You earn interest. That's what you want to do. Because see, that can work for you or against you. When you're earning the interest, that's working for you. When you have to pay the interest on that card, that's working against you. And so you really have to be careful. It's like you're playing with fire. You want to make sure you don't get burned. I'm not against credit cards, but there's a way to use them. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So just something to be aware of. Those of you who want to take vacation next year, we plan for a vacation. Maybe you're planning to buy a new home, maybe a car or something like that, or maybe you're saving up because you want to go back to school. These are all great reasons to start setting aside money for those things. Right? Start planning for it. That's all I'm saying. Start start fresh. January 1st. Start then. And you can get set up your high yield savings. There's one bank, and I know a lot of you have heard of Ally. What I really like about Ally is that they have these buckets. So you can set up your high yield savings account with Ally, and then you can have like buckets within that account. Maybe one is for vacation, another one is for your emergency fund, another one is for the car you want to buy in a few months or the house. And guess what? You label each one of your buckets. So when you put money into the high yield savings account, it goes into that account, but then you just allocate where you want it to go. And that way you don't have to set up separate accounts. You have one account. It's just put into buckets.
I
And right
like
now
that.
that
I like that. Sounds similar to what James is doing. I like that, James. That was a good idea. That family has an account for savings
yes,
for
that's a great idea, James.
yeah.
Start in January 1st. And maybe set aside a little bit of money, from since it's a family account and you all set aside a little bit and you got a family of 10. Oh yeah, think about it. Get the kids involved. Get the kids involved. You're teaching them about money when you do that. It's like, okay, you want A, B, C, and D. We're gonna start saving for it in January. So the more you can save, that means the more stuff you're gonna get. And I will tell you, it works. This is what I used to do back in the olden days when we used to have cash. This is what I used to do. I did this every single year for about 15 years. I got one of those 5 gallon water jars. And what I used to do, I would carry cash in my wallet to pay for the stuff I normally would pay for cash, food, stuff like that. But of course, COVID happened. Most of us haven't used cash since then. But I will tell you that cash worked. And here's the reason why. Cash is emotional. Cash is very, very emotional. If you don't believe me, go to the store with some cash in your wallet. Go to the store, go to purchase something, get up to the counter. When you look at the card, that credit card that you might want to use, it has no emotion at all. Zero. That cash has emotion. Put out a $20 bill or $50 bill. Even more emotional, pull out $100 bill and see if you don't have second thoughts about that purchase. Cash is emotional. That's why I used to carry it. Because like I started thinking, maybe I don't need that after all. Think about it. So the next tip is 24-hour rule. You go into the store, you see something that you like. I really want this. I've been wanting that dress. I've been wanting that TV. I've been wanting those shoes. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. And you see it, it's like, ooh. And if you weren't prepared to buy it when you walked in the store, maybe do a 24-hour rule. Back out of it. Don't buy it. Go home. Think about it for 24 hours. And the next day, if you still like, okay, I really want this, you've had a chance to think about it, let the emotion subside. You thought about it. It's like, you know what? I really do want this. If you if you can afford to get it, then go ahead and get it. What happens in a lot of cases, though, you forget about it. 24 hours, you forget about it. What do you think, Sheena?
I think that's definitely a good rule right there. It's so many things we go in the aisles and pick up and be like, oh, I don't know. Well, this is pretty cool. Oh, I'm not sure about it. And like you said, if it's something that's not that serious, you'll forget about it, or you'll find that it's not that important and I don't need to buy it right now. And I can wait, or I may not need it at all. So yes. And then to touch bases on what they're saying in the chat about them not touching cash. I'm the same. I rarely ever have cash. I mean, it's odd times that I actually end up with cash. And it is very emotional because I will try to hold on to that little $5 and $10 bill just, because just because. I'll give any reason for myself. It needs to be, a specific reason. Well, I just thank you so much for this conversation because you brought out a lot of little nuggets out there for people and tips. And I really, really hope that people out here has gotten some things that they can take with to help them. That's the whole goal, for us to make sure that we're out here helping ourselves and helping one another to be safe in every way. And today, finance was the safety tips that we needed to learn about and understand about. So if you guys like this video, please go ahead and press that thumbs up button. I really, really appreciate that. And Ms. D was such an awesome guest. I thank you guys for just interacting with us and asking questions. I'm going to have Ms. D tell you guys how you can get in contact with her if you want to find out more about what it is she do and the services that she can provide to you. So, Ms. D, if you would please provide that.
Okay, so if anybody would like to meet with me, talk to me, maybe talk about some ideas to get 2025 started on the right foot. Uh, One of the things that we do, my team and I, we get together every January and we do a virtual vision board, and it's a huge hit. We've been doing it now for the last 8 years. This year we had to do two of them because we did the first one and people said, "Oh man, I wish I could have been there. I missed it. I couldn't be there." And oh my goodness, can you do another one? So we actually did another one. I'm going to see, give me a moment here, Sheena. You may want to pull out a few things. I want to bring up a QR code. If anybody is interested in doing a digital vision board workshop, we're going to be doing it on Sunday, January the 5th from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Sunday, January the 5th. I'm going to show a QR code if I can bring that up here in just a moment here. And if you want to, you can go ahead and register for that. You can join us. I will definitely be there and would love to meet you. As a matter of fact, let me turn this around. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that, but this is the QR code for the vision board. Hey, Sheena, I'm going to mute myself because right now you're muted, so I can't hear you.
It's me that was muted. I apologize. What I was saying as far as the QR code, you guys, if you're using your phone right now, if you screenshot it, you should be able to access it a little bit later. So just screenshot it if you can, if you're on your phone. And I'm gonna try to include the link. So Ms. D, if you can also just send me the link, maybe that'll also be helpful. I'll include the link to the description for people. And also if you can provide the link for email for me to put in the description too. Someone's asking for the website, for your website or for your email.
Yeah, I can send you that information, Sheena. That way, I'll also include my contact information. If anybody wants to just talk about finance and all, this is quick down and dirty stuff. Just a few tips with you, but when I meet with people, it's very serious. We talk about your stuff, answer your questions. Um, Not going to charge you a fee. Found a better way of working with folks, so not going to charge you a fee, so I can start working with you if you were serious about doing some things differently in 2025. So
Yeah. So
some
if you would go ahead and provide your email and your website now for the ones that are on here now though.
Okay, I'm about to put my phone down though. So
No, no worries. We'll wait for that. It looks like we got some that are interested in getting a little bit more savvy with their spending habits. So yeah, I know we're going a little over time right now, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Now, it just looks like we had a good time tonight. I definitely think that I had a good time. How about you guys? Yeah, we're definitely going to add this information to the description. So anybody else watching after this is recorded, her information is going to be provided in the description. So that'll be definitely a good place to check for it. Um, and Miss D, you don't have to rush. If you can't get the information right now, I'm just going to add it to the description. Okay. So you guys check in about maybe give me like 10 minutes to the description, and I'll add it on there for you guys. Okay. Um, But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Miss D, for coming out, hanging out with us.
yes, I will definitely put the rest of my information in the chat. That way you all can check it out. My website, check it out. There's some real good information out there. I promise you. And my contact information, you can reach out. My calendar and everything. That way you can schedule some time with me and we can sit down and talk. And like I said, I'm gonna give it to you straight for no chaser, but we'll have some fun along the way because I know some people get stressed out when it comes to talking about their personal finances. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be so. Look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you, Sheena, for inviting me. I've enjoyed this, and I appreciate everybody's comments and questions. That's what it's all about. We helping each other. So I
Yes.
really appreciate that.
Well, happy holidays to everyone, and definitely look forward to seeing you guys soon. So we'll be back with some great discussions next week. Um, there is something interesting I have to discuss with you guys. You guys gonna have to wait and see. See you next time. Have a good night. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.